Man, I am delighted to be back on Quickie Plays. I'm back with my good friend Eric.
That's... See, the other ones were fine because you pronounced them the right way, but you can't just change my name. Mostly because I haven't agreed to go by a different name yet. But if we ever want to come up with code names...
I'm gonna give your attitude an F for atrocious.
G, how kind of you.
Are we playing that stupid improv game?
We are playing that improv game.
I never liked that one.
But
It always gets to a certain point where you just have to shout xylophone for no reason. It's nothing fucking starts with X.
Exactly. But the E is not there. Alright.
Yeah, okay.
I
don't think throwing things at him would work.
Hulk, remember, you can transform back to normal if you calm down.
See, all I have to do is hold the Y button and I calm down.
What good does that do?
Well, the Hulk can't climb those little ropes.
But he can jump, like,
No. Shh.
hundreds of feet into the air.
No.
We're ignoring that?
We're ignoring that, yes. Well, no, I guess he does do it at the end of the first Avengers 2, doesn't he? Because he just kind of, like, flies across New York.
Well, he does it all over the place, because he's jumping, like, from building to building, and then into the building, and then running out and punching the big chompy monster.
Well, he starts by punching the chompy monster. Don't forget.
Yes, I know. But then he jumps all over the place.
They probably didn't want him able to, like, do everything, otherwise no one would ever play as anything but the Hulk.
But you still were the Hulk.
I mean, I'm solidifying! Oh, what a world!
Yeah?
I do, because this is, relatively speaking, this is an old Lego game.
Oh, yeah.
The newer ones, the subtitles are done just a little bit better.
What, are they...
Not in the middle of the screen.
Oh, okay.
See how these ones are like. Look at how I hold that.
I hate hammer. Get it? Because it's a hammer. Are we back yet?
Yes. Oh, well, we've been back.
Well, I don't know. There's not like a
You were just
signal.
You were just admiring the puns.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm gonna throw this at him. He like. Look at that. He's got. You can see he's got little concrete studs in him now.
Because you sprayed him with water?
Well, no, because I did, but then I also threw some concrete at him.
Oh, of course.
Uh-oh. What's he gonna do?
You got me that time.
Yeah, but I just...
What?
He's a cool villain because you can't beat him just by punching him.
Right.
And that's
What?
really neat.
Oh, I thought you were gonna...
But at this point, you're just punching him. You'd think the whole point would be like, keep spraying him with water. Keep spraying him with water.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm spraying him with... Like I'm throwing water or cement at him to solidify him so I can punch him to kind of daze him.
Would that daze him, though?
I mean, if he's
How do the physics work when you're made of sand?
If he's been solidified, then it would change a little bit, I think.
I guess it depends on... Like, I don't know if they ever explain this, but I would love to get a real explanation for... Can he just control sand? Or is he all sand?
I think what you're looking for is one of those things that just kind of comes down to who is writing him.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, you could write a Sandman storyline and decide that for yourself.
Because one writer might say, oh, now that he's been solidified, now you can hurt him. Whereas another writer might say, well, he just controls the sand, so couldn't he just shift his consciousness out of the sand that is now wet and punchable?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because that feels really weird that he would just have to be in, like, mentally a part of all sand.
I'm gonna guess just at least for this version of Sandman, they just need an excuse to be able to knock him out.
Yes, and that I understand.
But I mean...
But I like...
I'm not totally sure of how often he shows up or comes up in Spider-Man stories, especially...
Isn't he actually a relatively small character?
Hulk, can you help with some of this
I
debris?
think so.
Well, because now Spider-Man's all about Spider-Gwen and Venom and Spider-Gwenom and Miles Morales.
You're
And
calling them cosmic bricks?
whatever the hell else they're doing in the Spider-Man comics nowadays.
Silk. I'm assuming Scarlet Spider is still a thing.
Is it? Is that Ben Reilly?
Yeah, I think he's still a thing. Although they did just do some clone storyline with him, so he might be dead now.
I thought the clone thing was years ago.
Well, they did another one like.
Oh, another one, because
They-
people weren't sick of the original.
Well, they bring it back every once in a while because whereas everybody is sick of clones, why not bring them back? Because people like clones.
That's why Attack of the Clones is the best Star Wars movie.
Right.
Exactly, because it has a lot of clones in it.
Exactly. And also, there's that one clone that is in Star Wars Rebels.
Which I have not seen, so...
That's fine. It's apparently a good show.
I don't want to say regret, because it's not like I had much of a choice, but it was a shame that I missed out on the period of history after the original trilogy of Star Wars movies, but before the prequel trilogy.
Where everybody just kind of missed Star Wars.
And it was great, and everyone had all these cool theories of like, oh, what were the Clone Wars? Is Obi-Wan a clone? And his actual name was like Obi-Wan, and that's like his clone designation. Like all this cool stuff, and then you see the movie, it's like, oh, it's just a bunch of nothing.
It's a bunch of
stupid garbage that no one cares about.
It's a bunch of clones just fighting each other.
There's nothing interesting. The fact that they're clones is practically irrelevant.
They literally just exist to
Just to fight. They're no different than robots.
They exist to become stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That's their entire point through the prequel trilogy.
There could have been like a neat... I don't know.
But going into Star Wars lore, the clones that are introduced in 2 and then upgraded in 3 exist to become stormtroopers. But per Star Wars lore, most of them are dead by the time A New Hope starts.
And then A New Hope, most of the stormtroopers are just people.
Yeah, conscripts. People forced into becoming stormtroopers.
Which is what they were also doing in Force Awakens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
I don't know how well the stretching effects work in Lego.
They,
I mean, they definitely work.
I mean, everything looks really shiny and plasticky in this one. Don't forget there's another one coming out, so they might be a little different. But we're not going to know about that for a couple of weeks.
I don't know.
I want to say it comes out a week after Thor comes out.
So it comes out on the same day that Justice League comes out?
It might be the Tuesday before Justice League. Maybe the Tuesday after. I would have to actually look at my phone, and I can't do that while we're interrupting Nick Fury.
Hey, well, he's got a burrito now.
He does have. Well, actually, I think that's just a menu to order a burrito.
No, it's a thing that you put in a computer so that it spawns a burrito.
Oh, so it's like a 3D printed burrito.
Just like in Star Trek.
Right.
Of course.
Right. As you can see, this is the helicarrier.
Yeah, I saw the Avengers.
Did you?
I did.
Did you?
I don't remember who I was there with.
I'm gonna guess I was at least half of the people.
I don't think so. I think I saw it in college.
Oh wow,
'Cause
that was a while ago.
It came out in 2012, right?
Yes.
I would have been in college.
Right, I forgot.
So there is a strong chance I saw it during the Dark Ages.
Right.
Which is why I don't remember it.
Well, then maybe we should watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to do a marathon to get ready for the third Avengers movie.
Are we?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't think so.
I mean, we don't have to do it all in one day, or even.
We don't have time to marathon that many movies.
That's why we take like 2.5 weeks off and do it every other day.
That's all of my time off.
Well, we don't have to do it until because Avengers 3 doesn't come out till like this time next year.
Okay, so maybe I'll have an extra week.
Yeah.
That's still most of my time off.
There you go. And what else are you going to do with your time off? Something stupid?
Something productive? God forbid.
Well, you're not allowed to have productive things to do.
I know I'm supposed to take time off when it's the most inconvenient for the company.
me ask you a question real quick, not to divert from you talking about whatever the hell you're going on about. Should I try to do any extra stuff?
Hey man, it's your game.
Or should I just try to move the story along until we get to the extra missions where we can finally see Kingpin?
Do that. Do whatever it takes to do a goof off.
A goof off. Well, I'm gonna... See, I like doing this every time I start this game, even though this is the first time I've played it in like a year. Because you get free money, and also, I like the way it looks.
Did he just spawn a parachute as soon as he jumped?
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic doesn't have a parachute, though.
I think he turns himself into a parachute.
But no, he doesn't have a parachute.
He turns himself into one, don't worry. He'll be fine.
Doesn't a parachute work only if it has something... Okay, I guess.
See?
I guess that makes sense.
He basically turns into a piece of
Well, this is like, because a parachute works because it has something heavy rooting it.
Yes.
But if Mr. Fantastic doesn't have something to root himself...
But you also have to consider that a parachute is not controlling itself. Mr. Fantastic is a parachute controlling itself.
Mr. Fantastic is a parachute.
Yes.
Does he identify as a parachute?
I don't want to make any assumptions.
There's also... I don't know. I think there's a lot of characters who they can do a lot of cool stuff with, and then like they're in a position where they just can't do that in the movies, which is where they would probably do all the cool stuff with them.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the stuff that a lot of this cool stuff that happens in the comics usually comes out because of a very specific situation.
Yeah.
And they can't always write in those specific situations.
Well, but even like Mr. Fantastic, there's lots of cool stuff they could do with that, but that would require Marvel to have the rights to the Fantastic Four.
Right, I was going to say that would require a good Fantastic Four movie.
Like they could do even more cool stuff with Sandman, but that would require... Hold on. Hold on.
Yes.
He turned himself into, what, wire cutters?
Bolt cutters. He turned himself into a
But-
giant pig.
He was floating.
Yes.
He's not Sandman. He doesn't have the ability to control his own body in midair.
You don't know that.
2, so he can make his body more elastic and stretch it around.
Right.
That doesn't work in reverse. He can't suddenly make it, like, super hard, can he?
Well, I mean, if
Strong enough to cut through a fence?
if he just rolls the lower layers of skin on top of each other infinitely, they become more solid. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on here that maybe you just don't have the Mr. Fantastic science brain to understand. Luckily, I do.
Maybe he put some of his bones
And
then let them solidify so that he could cut it with the bones.
Can his bones stretch too?
No instruction manual?
If his bones couldn't stretch, he'd be a pretty shitty superhero.
But I don't like. Is it all of him that stretches, or just
Well, yeah.
his non-bone parts?
If his bones didn't stretch, how would he do anything?
I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm asking if you have.
That would be the equivalent of being the fastest human alive. It's like you're just Usain Bolt. Like, yeah, you're fast, but it's not like that amazing.
Right. But I forget what point I was gonna make.
His bones have to be able to stretch.
Do they though?
Yes.
Okay. So
How would he reach under the door in the first Fantastic Four movie? His bones would get in the way.
Do they talk about the bones in that movie?
I don't know if they talk about it, but they make it pretty clear that he can go thin enough where his bones are also malleable.
Okay. I guess we'll have to rewatch the first Fantastic Four movie.
Well, I'm assuming the first Fantastic Four movie is the pinnacle of lore and canon for Fantastic Four.
Specifically, just Mr. Fantastic's bone structure.
Oh, is that Doctor Ban?
Yes. Why, you don't like Doctor Octopus?
I love Doctor Octopus, but I don't like that visual aesthetic for Doctor Octopus.
The green?
The kind of dorky... Like, I guess it makes sense because they have to use Lego pieces, and those are Lego pieces that look tentacly. Like, I love the way he looked in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Hey, how about we fight him next time on the show?